Trains. Going to be working on trains today. Hello, my name's Trismegistus, and I'm playing through Satisfactory. Still playing through the eternal stream that never ends, because I've bitten off way more than I can chew. Last few streams, we've been working on trains. I've come up with... should be visible there, if I can get the settings right. There we go, that's better. Yeah, sounds okay. Right, yes, so this is the sort of setup, or the aesthetic version of the train system that I sort of came up with. No, got all that wrong. Brilliant. Doing well. I was massively late today. I've got so much work to do. The guy, I don't want this to sound like a complaint, but the guy's meant to be supporting me on the project I'm working on got COVID. He was on holiday last week, and he's got COVID, so he wasn't in. Well, I mean, it's a remote office kind of thing, but yeah, he wasn't well, so I had to continue ploughing on, trying to do it all myself, which is kind of an impossible job. So yeah, so what I need to do, really, is kind of lay down, keep working on the concrete. It's probably going to be a bit boring, if I'm honest, because I kind of need to decide where I'm actually, putting all this concrete down, and sort of what, because... Is that worth doing? I mean, I have called the episode Trains, so I guess we should work on that. I was just thinking we might be able to do something else, but... Guess what we've got here. Because what I need, basically, is to build some, super straight lines. In fact, speaking of which, we're going to need a lot more concrete, aren't we? I don't get the... Sometimes you seem to move really, really fast, and other times not. And I know there's this trick. Don't really don't really cause you to move fast. But some reasons sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. Yeah, so I had a lot to do today. Didn't get it all done. Was thinking about going back to it after this, but yeah, not keen on that. What? Oh, am I on there? That was a bit weird. Right, so yes, we're going to need lots and lots of concrete, basically. So I was thinking I might just throw some bits in here to get us... Why have I got those extra ones there? I don't know. Because we just literally need to work out a path for where to take the concrete. So I'm going to keep a few bits and pieces, I think. I guess those must have come from a crash. Just in case I need to end up building something, don't really need all that. Get rid of that. Them. Yeah, must have gone to a crash site, did we? Can't see any reason. Oh, it's full. I want them, so get rid of those. Keep them rubber. Get rid of maybe them. Don't need... In fact, don't. What do I need all of those for? Let's get rid of them. And that'll do. So, let's go and get a... You see what I mean? We're now moving super fast. I don't get the control scene in this. We're moving way, way quicker now. Maybe it's because you have to... No, it doesn't make sense. Maybe it's a running thing? Anyway, let's get a bunch of concrete. In fact, can I take all of that? Because there's loads of concrete out there, but we're going to need to load more? Lay a load more. Let's get rid of that. And we've got 3 rows. Okay. So, how am I going to do this? I mean, fundamentally, we got the factory here. I don't think I'm going to do anything in... Oh, juice. In terms of, building this again. I'm just going to repurpose it, I think, is where I'm going. on where my brain is. So we do need the first bit here to be, you know, attaching. I mean, even if I build like stacked, you know, train stations and, you know, we build 3 stations here and I go up a level to get over this maybe, you know, that sort of thing. I think this is where the trains are going to connect. So the straight line does need to sort of come out here, like it sort of currently is. I think I'm happy with that. But what? Buts. So maybe if we go with this. Are you going to clip on there? Oh, that's not one. Vertical voop. Because the other thing I want to do is have some smaller factories sort of over in this area. So it does need to be sort of a straight line. Oops. Let's get the vertical voop off. So we want regular zoop. Don't want 4 meter ones, we want 1 meter ones. So like this. So basically I'm thinking, I know there is a universal grid now, but obviously I built a lot of this before that even was in the game. So we kind of need like a main line past all these theoretical factories, but it needs to be above the tree line, I think. And then this will just connect, you know, as I need to, but it will be nicely aligned. Oh, hello, Grim. How you doing? You alright? You don't need to keep subscribing. You know, it's not. It's not a necessity. I saw you playing Ark a couple of times. Because there seems to be this thing, is it what they call it? Like community crunch or something? I saw you playing that quite a lot. It's a free primal, okay. But somebody came, it was, I didn't quite know how to react, because they came in, they were asking if, say, a brand new Factoria player, and they were asking, like, super basic questions. Not in any, I don't mean that in an insulting way, but a sort of a, you know, how do I even, you know, put stuff on belts, that sort of thing. And they did like a, you know, whatever it is, bit donation thing and subscribed, and I was like, I don't. I'm more than happy to just answer those sorts of questions. You don't need to subscribe. It's like, is that ungrateful? I just don't know how to react to it. I'm too British, I think. But also, I mean, you know, I don't need the money, so it all seems a bit pointless to me. Not pointless. Over the top, or I don't know what it seems, but say it's a bit sort of like, you know, I'm grateful. I'm not ungrateful, but it's just, you know. I had wondered about becoming like putting a charity thing on, maybe. And sort of saying for people to send it over there. So if it's things like the Prime one, I suppose it's not, doesn't matter either way. But so I'd kind of rather people donated to something rather than me. Right. So is this? If I put all this here, I mean, I can blow the trees up, and some of them are quite tall, aren't they? I suppose what I could do. How would I check that? Oh, it's on vertical. Any money you get from streaming goes to charity kind of thing. Yeah, so that was what I was sort of thinking. But you can't sort of do it automatically. Subscriptions and stuff, you know, just go to you. So I could do it, but in theory, if I ever got payment, I'd have to pay tax on it, which seems a bit. That's what, you know, because you know it is a job, I suppose. But yeah, but as in just having a donate button, and you could donate to a charity that meant something to me, rather than say, you know, send bits to someone who, you know, kind of doesn't need them. So I kind of need to be over the top of these trees, don't I? Really, for these other factories, they're going to be quite high up. Because we're already at like halfway up the regular factory. So where would this be? It'd be... Let's get another... Oops, get another vertical zoom. So where do I want this to be? Oh, can't jump up now. So I'll probably trash the first couple. Depends how much you only take. Whoops! Oh dear, no, ouch. Yeah, say it's sort of well, no, I mean, because I got a job, I'd have to pay it anyway, no matter, even if they, because they only do payouts of $100, I think it is. But I'd have to put, because I say I have got a job, so it counts as additional income, and you get taxed on that quite heavily, actually. Always struck me as a bit weird, that one, because it's like, you know, the types of people who want everyone working, you know, every hour cents, and if you get a second job, they absolutely hammer you for tax, and it's like, well, what do you want? Do you want people thrashing themselves to death to work, or, you know, you want to discourage them with you know, heavy taxing? Is that? I think it needs to be one more, doesn't it? Let's have a look. No. Not that. No. But how have you been anyway? You having a good summer? I went straight into there, doing my whole being ungrateful about you subscribing. Yeah, it needs to be one higher, I think. Yeah, I think that'll work. Right, so this is the height we need this sort of straight line to be at. Where does it actually need to be? That's the question. That is the question. If you earn it enough, it could be as much as 50%. Yeah, exactly. It's like... It just seems... Particularly, you know, the sorts of... In a sense, the people who would need to get a second job, you know, that... You know, perhaps their first job isn't paying well and all that, and then you sort of tax them in such a way that it's massively disincentivized. And it's like, well... It's sort of people who... I say, it just always seemed a bit of a weird contradiction to me, because the sort of people who want us all working every hour God sends, the Tory party basically, don't then put in the conditions that would make that worth doing. And it said moan about us all being, I don't know, scroungers and stuff. All them all being scroungers. Right, so if we put the train line here, it seems quite far over. I think it's a bit too far over. So I'm going to try and do like as few sort of bends as possible. I don't know why. I just fancy it. Yeah, we've just been trying to complete Arc as legit as possible for Arc to arise in like 5 years. Oh, right. You mean, I say, is that part of that event? Say, what they called it, Community Crunch. Is that about, you know, sort of grinding through it, as it were? But I presume by that you mean you usually play with mods on? Gonna be right over the poison here, though, aren't I? I think it's too far over anyway. There's plenty of space at the factories, but let's see. So you think it'll be a while before Arc 2 as well? I was actually looking. Do you know Nightingale? I don't know if you've heard of that. I've been looking at that quite a lot. I think that might be I think I mentioned before, I tend to struggle a little bit with the survival games. I think a big part of it is the, how to put it, the similarity to sort of mechanics like, whoops, that you get in roguelites, you know, where you're dead and that's it, sort of thing. Oh, it's a bit harsh. So, yeah, I think it's a bit close. But where do I actually want it to go? Because I don't mind having some turns, but I just try to avoid them. Because I could do it as a junction. Because we could go over here, like over there. Because that's the valley over there. So if I put this maybe 2 over. Where does this end up? And I could just have a T-junction that goes off and goes up to the... I need to redo that. Is this going to work? Community Crunch is just a way for the wildcard devs to keep fans up to date, as I understand it. Alright. Oh, the Friday... Oh, Factoria Friday Crunch. Ah, okay. I sort of thought it was an in-game event, but... Just like a blog, you know, blog thing, basically. I mean, these are going to be some tall pillars if I do this. No, I don't like that. Don't like that. In which case, where am I actually putting this? I should put my other backpack on. Yeah, so I was looking at Nightingale. It's sort of a survivally thing, but it's it sort of almost blends in a bit more of sort of like Valheim. So you build, I don't know if you call them settlements, but yeah, I suppose they are. But and they seem to be quite complicated. And the trailer, well, one of the trailers shows it having, because it's more like steampunk style, which is something I always love because it's supposed to be set in Victorian era and it gets like portals and people get trapped, you know, on random planets basically. Oh, I guess there's one of them. Oh look, there's a thingy there. Yeah, and basically what you did, and the sort of one of the unique things to it is you use the portals. It's not like Valheim where you go around the same map. You use it to go to a different, you know, different area, different map sort of thing. And there's like a card system where you can, as I understand it from what it says, you can use the cards to basically determine. It's like building the world based on the cards, effectively. So, you know, if you have a card, and I can't remember what the good actual examples were, but, you know, a card that says, you know, all the enemies are hostile, then they'll all be hostile. Or we can have one where all the enemies are friendly, and they're all friendly. So I don't think it's exactly that, but it's that sort of idea. But say the trailer also had a dirigible, so like, you know, like a Zeppelin, basically. And it looks like, you know, you can build entire towns and stuff. And so I like the system in Valheim, but never really that interested. It's a bit like V Rising. The thing the problem I had with V Rising was, you know, it's about building, you know, Gothic castle, but it's not that flexible a system. It's all sort of grid based and that. And I'd love a game where I could build a Gothic castle. Whoops. This'll hurt. Oh, that's not too bad actually. Why did that drop not hurt me very much? Let's put that on anyway. In fact, how am I going to get up there? So yeah, I think that might be my one. Because you like, obviously you go to these different places for... Why did I build that so far away? Because I'm an idiot. The events are called like Summer Bash, Beer Evolved, Turkey Trial, Winter Wonderland, Lava Evolved, that kind of thing. Okay. But you think Arc 2 will be quite delayed? I sort of assumed it'd come out into... Because didn't Arc 1 stay in, like, whatever you want to call it, early access or beta or whatever for years? Where the heck are the... I'm being super dumb, aren't I? No? There we go. Okay, there we go. Right. Okay. So yeah, so this is going to be my sort of straight... main line. We'll probably end up going up ramps and stuff. So it needs to be too wide. So we need to go and check that. Oh, it was supposed to be date 2022, was it? Oh, I see. I won't say I'm desperate for it, but I could really do with some news about the Factorio expansion. It's sort of... It's almost getting silly. And I'm not saying, they don't need to announce a release day or anything, but at least a couple more hints, Because one of the things that's been quite interesting is the big mod packs, the overhaul mod packs, have kind of become, like, I don't have to phrase it, hot points of discussion on Reddit, basically. So people, obviously there's loads and loads of threads still about vanilla, but there's loads and loads of people clearly playing space exploration, and Crash Storio 2, and well, those are the two main ones. But it's sort of fascinating because it's like shows how much it's been so long since we got something new, sort of thing. People are clearly hungry for something, and there's not really any clue what it's about. I mean, I get it. People have said, and I sort of agree with them, that they don't want to give it away and have someone develop a mod pack that's, that steals their thunder, as it were. But even so. Are we going Mega Train Base? You mean in this? This here? No. I mean, it won't be that, no. I was actually thinking about stealing your idea with, like a really high up train system, and just having, sort of, spiral staircases that you had. But no, I mean, it'll be. I think I've learnt so much on this run. I actually thought, because I don't know if you've been around, but I've got a new job basically, and it's actually going to be down near you, I think. But it's quite a significant move again, because I've got to go all the way down south again. So I'm kind of planning to only stream twice a week. For now, as it were. But at some point, I'm going to have to stop streaming altogether because it's just going to be too much. Well, plus, of course, there'll probably be... Probably be multiple weeks without internet, I imagine, just because of how rubbish all the ISPs are. Underneath me, I think, and they're crashing into the thingy. What point was I making then? Oh yeah, and so to the extent, because this is going to take ages, you know. So I've learnt so much, and it's been, you know, really fun. I've not overall not, you know, enjoyed it. It's just from the point of view of, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to square this out. Basically, I'm going to have to do some sort of junction. I mean, I might do potentially do a, you know, just two S-bend, like an S-bend basically, rather than mess about with the, you know, properly curved bends. Because I didn't work out how I would do them. Anyway, yeah. So we'll just put this in here. What was I saying? Because this needs to go over there, basically. So yeah, it might have to be an angled bend, mightn't it? Because if it comes this way, because I don't really want to interact with that rock. If I take it up to there, how far does it go? Oh yes, that was what I was saying. So basically, because there's going to be a great big gap where I probably won't stream anything. Yeah, it's fine for Factoria because they're, you know, those series are just, you know, whatever sort of thing. But this one, they've said, you know, they want to do more updates and faster updates. It's going to get to a point where they're going to introduce something. I mean, we might hit version 1.0 where, you know, I'll want to restart, basically. So that doesn't quite work, does it? Okay. So maybe if I go a bit closer. So how far over? Whoops, okay. Well, I'm off there. For trains are fun. That's how I can wait for a point. Yeah! Definitely working. Definitely something you could do. Yeah, so just, am I planning on going around that corner? I think I am. So we kind of need to be, I mean, let's say I'll blow some of these trees up, but we kind of need to be over here with it. So it would still need to be a couple over that way. Because we could then have a T junction here. And this would go up to the other factory. So it kind of needs to be there, I think, doesn't it? Yeah, it needs to be a bit further over, really. Yeah, so we'll have to do something in person. So they're doing EGX again this year. I'm a bit trepidatious about, you know, committing to 4 days again, because it was a bit of a rip-off doing all 4 days. And it's like really close to when I'm going to be moving, early September, so it was like, oh, but even, you know, I could, you know, you could do it on a day trip, you know, type closeness. And it's like, well, I'm going to be skint from having to move, basically. So that didn't really work. Before you had has come home, want to play with dragon and dinosaurs. I'll try and teach her art. Yeah, that's what it all is. God, that's a long while to say, isn't it?
You are so lucky that you found this most valuable artifact.
I don't think that's going to work. I think I'm going to have to do a weird angle. A little difficult to tell with draw distance because you can't really see it all. Yeah, the gang. It's going to have to come this way, isn't it? Up this valley, I think. Okay. So, if it was to, if we use this as a sort of positioning thing, because it's too low down, but is it pointing in that direction, maybe? I think so. So if I do, well, I don't know, do I? Let's just do a path over there with this. The world is just going to be filled with bits of concrete. It's much like the real world then. Might have the Switch version update because there's a kids mode pretty much. Oh really? Because there's quite a few games where I don't know how to phrase it because I don't want it to sound like I'm sort of attacking journalists, but there's quite a lot of games, and Ark's one of them, where they're like massively popular. You know, huge amounts of money made and all that sort of thing, and you never hear about them. You know, there's sort of, when was the last time there was an article on, I don't know, IGN or something about Ark? You know, and it's like, I sort of get it. I mean, to say, maybe their audience isn't particularly interested, sort of thing. But I say, you never like PC game runs. It's one of the struggles, I think, because I mean, it's sort of in that territory of live service game, isn't it? And it's sort of like, unless you've got someone who's kind of in that community and knows about it and those sorts of things, it must be difficult to write articles. But there are also the sorts of groups of people, I think, who probably wouldn't read them anyway. You know, the audience for it is, you know, attached to YouTubers and streamers and that sort of thing, rather than your traditional media outlets. Are those at the same height? They must be, because... yeah. Because I've built them both up from the same point. So if we do, this is the sort of train line here. Let's just get rid of it. Oh, it didn't work, does it? Because it's too close to that. No. Good thing. Oops! Don't want to fall off there. Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, Ark is massively popular, and a lot of these games are. You know, they're sort of like PUBG. PUBG's still enormously popular. You know, PUBG Mobile in particular makes huge amounts of money. The same one was the last time, and they had a really big map drop just recently. Big new map, but it just doesn't get, you know, doesn't get covered, so, because I guess it doesn't get the clicks. But... whoa! Yeah, interesting. So, this is the foundation that we're using, or the line of it anyway. Probably needs to be 1 over. Don't think the line is correct. And then they still haven't turned. It's interesting. I mean, I guess they're all on holiday, aren't they? Because the Swedes just disappear for August and July. But they still haven't turned all the monsters back on. Yeah, that's going to be wrong place, isn't it? So actually, no, this isn't the line. What we need is something slightly different, I think. Can I get up there? Maybe with you. Until there. Yeah, it's going to be too far out because it hits that. It gives me a better idea. Let's take this out. It's another one of those situations where a top-down view would be make things a lot easier. So, we want to be kind of heading for there. From around here. Okay. So, that direction? What about that? So it'd be one underneath. Is that going to work? Yeah, I think that heads in the right direction. Okay, let's get rid of it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do coordinates again, aren't I? Oh well, I can work that out later. I think there's a way of doing it with, because I was doing, I think it's like an older school technique. I think you can do it with these things. But work that out, you know. Oh, hello, Diablo. How you doing? I wait for the Switch version. Yeah, Viking map. Got a later, boss. Have a good one. Thanks for the chat. Yeah, no problem. Graham, always good to see you. Hope you have a good evening. And how do you? Diablo, how you doing? Yeah, okay. Let's go with this. That's good, thank you. Cool. You have much game time. I imagine your offsprung child is on holiday. Must be by now. I lose track. I mean, because I say it's not. I don't have kids and that sort of thing. So I lose track of it. But I'm pretty sure all the schools are off around here. They all, it seemed to be really weirdly like distributed this year. As in, some of the schools seem to be like 3 weeks apart, which it just sort of completely confused me. So I try and avoid. As I go for a walk in the morning, I try and avoid the time when the kids are going to school.
Harvest.
So we need to be a couple. I don't think I brought any bombs, did I? Didn't.
Relaying message. Hello, this is Paternal Figure. I have taken ill and need your help to find a cure. Doctors say that the only remedy is alien artifacts.
So, if this is, there's going to be, you know.
Comply.
She's off again. I don't even know where that one is, to be honest with you, to get rid of it. I'll get some time in the evenings, but don't fancy after work. Yeah. So do I just try and go across there? Oh, shush, woman.
I strongly advise you to harvest this specimen.
What the heck was I trying to achieve with this one here? Guess I was intending to go down here. Down the gradient. So I don't even know where it is.
Harvest it.
It's not up here, is it? Oh, here we go. Let's just get rid of it then, 'cause it's driving me nuts.
lucky that you found this most valuable artifact.
Yes, yes, you've said. Right. Should have brought some bombs, I think. So, if I was to try and aim something down this... Because the trouble with this sort of path here, it's not straight. Like, at all. It's really curvy. And this was what I found here. It was like... Ooh. Plus, of course, I think you need to go down, because I didn't realise the sort of valley... I mean, it makes sense. I'm not saying this... It's like some surprise or anything, but this here is at like sea level, which is why there's water. That's how water generally works. But this is at sea level, and then it basically goes up steadily, like through the valley. And now that they've changed it, it used to be you could go straight, but you can't now. There's lots of things you've got to avoid, like these pillars and stuff. And it also goes up, and the desert is like really high up. Like really high up. But say, in order to do that, it sort of goes down here. And then back up again. So, I'm going to have to do the angled path, I think. Which I don't quite know what... but it also goes around a corner. I guess what I could... I mean, maybe I could... If that's there... We could come this side of the... Yeah, maybe that'll work. So instead of coming here... I mean, that needs to go up there because there's that other factory. But maybe instead of trying to go down there, we do a little branch off here. Oh, that's a bit better, isn't it? It's going to be at an angle again. It's not a 90-degree turn. But that looks a bit better. So if I aim for that, what does that look like? So if we sort of go there. Whoops. So let's put that one in. Need so I don't get confused. Like that. So if this is a branch here, is this the right angle? That's the question. Maybe. So if the second bit's... So I don't know how I'm going to connect all these up. Well, yeah, I think that works as an angle. Maybe we have a sort of a flat bit. Because I think I worked out they need to be 10 long. So it's a zoom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 more. And then we go into angle thingies. Is it 1 meter or 2 meter? That's the question. No, don't do that. Probably start taking radiation damage. We get kind of blasted by the plutonium now. In fact, I didn't restock those, did I? Okay, so I think this is where it needs to be. The question then is, where do I sort of flatten it out? Do we go sort of to here? go straight that way somehow. At the moment I'm sort of winding it round these weird things. I think it's probably a bit low anyway. So maybe we go 2 up. Don't deconstruct it while you're standing on it. So I guess maybe I can try and slot through that gap there. That's a bit of a fine angle to hit. Could go further in. Because we're going to need some junctions here to get all oil. Oh, there we go. There's your plutonium. That's your plutonium right there, that is. Because that's the wrong sort of angle. Could go a couple more in. Get even more irradiated. Maybe one more. Where does this end up? Okay, so it just slots through there. Okay. So, I mean, you have to do weird angles. That looks like a face, that block. Because there's no straight path anymore. Okay, so I've got that at a level there, haven't I? How far did I get? I've forgotten how far I got. So what height are we off here? Because this is the other issue, the factories aren't going to be at the same height. So... Oh, actually, that's a better angle, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So, maybe... If I grab... Bring this over to here. And try and line the two up. Again, let's not stand on it and deconstruct it beneath us. So how have I been? Not too bad. I sort of well, no, that's completely wrong. I've not been good, but not from feeling bad or anything that, you know, not been ill or anything. But basically, so am I gonna put this up or this one down? I think I mentioned, I don't know, maybe I didn't, but I got a new job. It starts on the 5th of September, but it's back down south. And that means house hunting, or flat hunting, rental house hunting, rent hunting, however you want to phrase it. So I went down last Friday to see some places. That was my plan anyway. And I did see some places. But what I hadn't realised is that the demand is off the charts. Oh, bum. The demand is absolutely off the charts, basically. They're like... There are quite a few houses. I mean, there are quite a few places. But, like, We've got any... No. Let's go on. They, Ooh. Yeah, they're basically, unless you're there, sort of day one, basically, when it goes live, and you can get down there, you know, get to the place to view it, you know, basically the next day, it's gone, basically. That's the level of demand that there is. So do I want to take this up? Yeah, we'll take this one up. So, it meant that I felt really pressured because I was phoning round basically on Thursday and just getting the reply of, oh no, it's gone. Oh no, it's gone. Oh no, it's gone. Oh no, it's gone. And it's like, well, first off, why haven't you delisted it then? But also, you know, wow, I had no idea. And of course, it's a long way for me to go. I mean, it's, you know, sort of. It was, I had a really good journey down, but it was still 2 3/4 hours. So I was like, well, do I try and make sure I get somewhere, or you know, or what? And there was a really nice place, and I was like, okay, let's just go for it. But it's left me quite nervous because I obviously don't have... What you usually have to provide is proof of salary, basically. Which you can usually do with payslips. But of course I don't have payslips because I'm not doing the job yet. How the heck am I going to line this up? It's about that one, maybe? But you can usually, you know, they'll take proof of from a job offer, basically. So if you've got a job offer letter, but you have to back that up generally with an actual reference. So someone will, you know, they can phone someone up and say, "Is this person actually working here? Are they earning that salary?" Because you could make it up, you know. And I'm not sure. I've obviously given a reference for the work thing. This is a very long, rambly story. But I've basically given the reference, but I don't know, because they're both on holiday. Well, the HR person only works Tuesday to Thursday. And the person who's my, you know, boss, I guess. They're not really, because it's all a bit complicated. But they've not... they're on holiday. So I couldn't give her name. And the HR person, I mean, you know HR people. They don't bend over you backwards usually to help you out, sort of thing. But they could easily turn around and say, no, we won't. You know, we're not going to provide the reference basically until you've got the final offer letter. And because of the job I'm doing, this is a long, rambly story. Sorry. Because of the job I'm doing, I'm getting properly referenced. They're doing a DBS check. Which I passed, and from what I can tell from the referencing agency, everything's fine, tickety-boo, you know, ticking the box. But obviously I don't have the final offer letter yet. Because I can't say they would say no at that point. But, because this place, you know, and everywhere is in such high demand, I was like, well, I need to put the holding deposit down. Otherwise it'll go. Because it's like a lot cheaper than it should be. And not that it's cheap. Good Lord, it's not cheap. Staggered by the cost of places down there. So basically, there's a very good chance, which always is the sort of thing that always makes me very nervous, that basically I can't get a reference to prove. I've put all of that in, and it's one too high. You know, to prove, to confirm the salary at the moment. So I might be able to get one, you know, later on. But because of how far it is, and this place isn't even available, it's like, you know, it's available 24th of September, so I've already got a period of like 3 weeks where, I mean, I've still got my current place, but it's a, 3-hour drive away. It's not commutable. Don't want that commute every day. No, exactly. That's the problem. So I also, because I couldn't speak to her, I was like, well, what do you want me to do? This is perfect. Well, no, it isn't. I keep checking myself because it's incredibly expensive, really. Rental pricing, housing has just become absolutely insane. It's just nuts how much it costs. I mean, it's literally double. No, this one isn't exactly double, but some of them were more than double what I'm currently paying. Now, part of that's because mine hasn't gone up, because I'm not sure. The landlord's a bit sort of green, basically. Doesn't really know what they're doing. And they haven't put the rent up since I moved here. But yeah, even if I was getting somewhere new, because there were like 2 options of where to work. And I wanted to do the one that was closer, because I just knew it would be cheaper, closer to here. They were like, no, we really want you, to come to the office down south, because that's where the rest of the team is. I was like, oh, okay, but that's going to cost me half as much again in rent, at the very least. So they upped the offer. So I was then like, oh, I'm going to have to accept then. I just assumed they'd say no. I just assumed they'd be like, oh, that's, we want you, but not that much. And then they up the offer, and it's like, well, I'm going to have to find somewhere then. Okay, so this is the new train idea. We're going to do this. I've called this episode Trains, or this stream Trains. I don't think I'm going to build a single train. It's just laying out concrete, basically. So yeah, so it's all been a bit, stressful, to be totally frank. And I don't really enjoy stress, certainly not that sort of stress. Because I spent the entire weekend filling out forms, because I had to... And so this is why I think I'm okay with the work thing, because they sent me the onboarding stuff, and I don't think they'd send me that if I was, still getting the references done. And I think it's sort of triggered automatically without her being there, to tell me, basically. But worst case, even worst case is I'll have to start the job, get a couple of pay slips, and then be able to send them pay slips. Because I have given, I've sent an email to my current landlord. Giving notice, and I've given like 3 months' notice, just in case, basically. Well, they've not replied, so I hope that's okay. But yeah, it could be like 2 or 3 months in order for me to build up pay slips before I can move. Well, that's going to be an absolute nightmare. So are we putting this on the inside or the outside? I guess it's dependent on how close it is on these sides. At least they offered you more. Yeah, so I was sort of... It's like nice, I sort of, because it's, it's like, oh, well, they clearly do really want me and want me down there. But equally, it was a bit sort of like, oh, that's just made my whole... Because the other option for working was only an hour's drive away. I mean, only. That's too much. I don't like long commutes at all. But, you could do that for a couple of months, no problem, and find a place close to that, and blah, 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 blah. Is that too close? Oh, no, that'll work okay, I think. Okay. It'll be too close on that side, though, I bet, won't it? Is it better here? Well, that's better. What does it do over here? But yeah, it was a sort of like double-edged sword, really. Yeah, it clips through that, doesn't it? I don't want it doing that. Okay, so the secondary line needs to come there. Because I'll be totally frank, what they offered me more doesn't actually cover the additional rent. It covers what, but it was sort of, I didn't quite know what to say to him, because it was sort of a, you know, I'm paying way below the market rate. You know, it's like it should be half as much again, basically, what I'm paying compared to what I'm paying. And I couldn't really say, well, you know, any new place down there is going to double my rent, because they'd be like, yeah, but even if you moved to Warwick, you'd need to, you know, you'd need to pay more. So that's not really a fair comparison. So yeah, so sort of, I'm actually going to be worse off, I think, slightly. But it has a much better bonus system, and also a much better pension. So I think, you know, I might just be skint for about a year, sort of thing, and then it will be, because the bonus is like 6%, which is double what it is at the current place, and the current place's bonus is basically a con. It's because it's always set at a level that you know, it only pays out like every other year, basically. They don't, whoops, they set it way too high to be realistic. It's actually a tiered bonus, and in theory we could all get 9%, but the company would literally have to do a year that was so much better than, you know, you'd have to do a turnover that was like 5 times what it's ever been. You know, it's that sort of, you know, it's just like, I don't know why, you know, why they think that's something we'd all believe would be possible. And we'd all have to sort of thrash ourselves to death to do it. You know, it's sort of like a bonus of even 9% isn't worth the fact that you'd have to do twice as much work in the year. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it'd be nice to have it going down there. Like that. It's too close there. Okay. I'll just put that in. I need to take out the old one first, really, didn't I? Because it's underneath. It's underneath. Everything's been settled down over, but this is going to have to impact on streaming. Yeah, so probably. Basically, I mean, there's almost. I mean, it already has, because I've already. Although, as it happens, I say, it's sort of weird, because if I've got this place, then, you know, I'll basically find, and I say, meaning from a point of view of if I need to get more evidence of. I mean, they may be just happy with the offer letter. I doubt it, but, you know, it's either okay. And, you know, next step is signing contracts and blah, 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 blah. But it's not available until the end, basically the end of September. So, you know, there's going to be a month or so where Friday and Monday streams are probably just not viable. You know, Monday I may be staying in a hotel, you know, or Travelodge, I guess, down there in order to, you know, to not avoid a commute. And Friday I'm just probably going to be shattered, or maybe I'm commuting back. You know, I say, it really depends on what they want me to do. And she wasn't there to answer those questions. But I can't see Friday and Monday streams being viable, basically. Except to say, we go for a weird bit where if it's fine, then I basically now got I've then got like 2 months to pack the house up and wait for the move, and I can basically go back to streaming all 4 days, all weekend basically, because that's it. It's done. There's nothing. I'll have to pop down there and let's say sign contracts and stuff, but assuming they don't use DocuSign, but I can do that like Wednesday afternoons or something. But if it all falls apart, I'm not actually sure what to do, because I don't fancy doing another Friday. That was horrendous. It was just like an absolute nightmare. 5 hours worth of driving, more like 6, because I got trapped in traffic coming back, and then all day just driving round and round and round looking at all these places. So I have a feeling, my feeling is basically, to wait until I've started the job, and then, I say, the couple of days that they want me to be down there on site, I can use that to find a place. But then I'm in the territory of, is this going to work? Yeah, now unfortunately in the territory of, I've sent a notice, so when would that end? I say I made it super long, so it'd be the end of October, so it'd be a bit of a dash then, a bit of a panic to find a place, although I'd be a lot closer so I could see places at lunchtime. But yeah, I can't see myself streaming in that case, so it's all a bit sort of I don't know, but at the very worst, I can't see regular schedule being maintained, and I've actually already binned off Friday and Saturday anyway. I never give short answers to things, do I? The answer is yes, it's probably going to make it a bit of a mess. See, that's a simple. Why didn't I just say that? It's a good angle here, maybe, because that would definitely head into that Mesa thing. Would that angle work? Let's have a look. I sometimes wonder if I'm not, what do they call it? Is it autistic? Or something like that, because some things I do, like that, massively over-explaining things that are actually really simple. Are kind of signs of people who have that sort of thing. It's also a very good chance that it's just that I like hearing sound of my own voice. Right. Is that... because the question here, really, is the interaction with this, whatever this is meant to be. This big rock. Used to get a bonus at my place every year, but now get pay raises, which is better, I think. Yeah, I'd rather... I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of bonuses as a system, So particularly... So my old, my current company, my old company, bonuses are company bonuses, and I say they're pathetic. But sort of, how can I put this without sounding particularly unkind? Because everyone is valuable, I'm not saying it. I'm a bit of a socialist on that point of view. I wouldn't. I'm not actually unfavourable to basically everyone getting the same pay. But, I don't think the way pay is done is reflective of people's sort of real value. But, I say, in the system we're in, if the point is that some of us do the delivery, do the things that bring in the cash, and some people do the sales, and some people do the admin and that sort of thing. So not devaluing any of those. But if you're the person doing all the delivery, and I say it's one of the reasons I actually started looking for a new job, is because I'd basically like a significant fraction of the company's entire turnover for the for the last company year was because of things, my projects. So basically, you could almost go, well, this is the slice of the company that everyone else did, and this is the slice of the company turnover that Mark did. It's like, you know, so it was that significant. Because and I say, and it's what really wound me up and why I started looking, because we didn't get a bonus, and I didn't get a bonus, and we got a 2.5% pay rise, which normal year, fine, that would have been okay. It'd been somewhere around inflation for a normal year. But it's this year when inflation has hit 9%, and we're not talking about. I'm not saying that they did that, at the beginning of the year when there was, wasn't this inflation. This was, they offered this pay rise in quotes at a point where, the economy basically tanking was known. There was a lot of shenanigans with the actual bonus. So basically, because this is where we're trying to connect to. Basically, they changed the target without telling anyone. And then when we failed to when we didn't actually hit that revised target, and we were literally that far away from the revised target, instead of just giving us the bonus anyway, they said, oh no, well, the target was this old number, which we were never going to hit because it's all a bit complicated. But they messed up the estimate of what we would turn over. And basically, therefore, didn't give us a bonus. So we didn't get a bonus, and we got a 2.5% pay rise, everyone in the company. And as I say, I was a significant fraction of the company's entire turnover, and it was like I can't be arsed with this. If they're gonna have this system and set these ridiculous targets, I don't think I'm interested anymore. So yeah, that's why I started looking basically. But yeah, I'd always settle for a pay rise over a bonus or anything like that. They're nice, but they're never as big as they seem because, well, like that, a lot of companies 3% bonus. Well, if you think about, there's 12 months in a year, so take it as 10% bonus is a month's pay, give or take. So 3% bonus, it's like a week and a half's pay. It's not, it's not actually that generous. So, did I finish doing all those angles? Okay. I can't remember if I did or not. Let's go and have a look at it. Because I now know the... Oh, I left the wrong one on, didn't I? Slap in the face with it. Yeah, so that's what it felt like. I was like, I did actually... it's all right. It doesn't matter, I'm off. I don't care anymore. But they don't have a HR person. They don't have someone who does HR because the company's grown quite a bit and taken on quite a lot of employees to the stage where someone doing, resourcing, HR, whatever you want to phrase it, was a good thing for them to do. But they brought in a company to do it, so they hired in some contractors basically to do it. And it's like, well, what incentive do those contractors have to do anything other than make the owners happy? As plebs on the ground, they can turn around and do, oh no, do a 2% pay rise or whatever, because they're not one of us. They're some outside contractor who's just been bought in. Oh, I didn't finish this at all, did I? To give a sheen of HR to the company, and it's like, well, you may say that the directors therefore love them, but we're all like, what, this isn't a good situation. This is not, this is not helping us. Because it's like they started buggering around with the contracts, and it's like, well, why, And whose contract are they buggering around with? Ours. It's not their own contract, Right, okay. Right. So this is the factory, the big factory. I didn't do the extension over there either, did I? This is the big factory. And this is where the trains come in. So I obviously already decided to do an angle thing here, didn't I? Okay. So this is the corner, isn't it? So this is the very corner. So I think my thought was they'd all be coming out the middle, all the trains. So bring them all out on a central line. They come down here. So we need like a strip here, and that's fine. And then we need to be heading off in this direction. Okay. But that one doesn't work, does it? Because it's slightly off angle. Slightly out of position. Because it needs to line up with that one. Yeah, so I need to extend that one down until I can get it to connect at the right position to do this. Okay. So we'll leave a bit of this just for reference. In fact, how big is that? It's a 888, is it? So, how high would this have to be? I can't do the 4 ramp though, can I? Because the trains don't like the 4 ramp. So put this, oops, put this here. Oh, that's way too far. Needs to be sort of here-ish maybe. Okay. So move it one further down. So if it's this one. Does that work? Yeah, it's obviously mismatched in height. Oh no, it's still one off. Oh, but then I want a 1 meter ramp, don't I? Make it a bit smoother. Smoother. Okay. So height-wise and direction-wise, that's that. And I think these can be 10, can't they? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. Rid of all of that. So what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because we've got the 1 at the top. No. Because it'd be good to have a branch here that goes over to the steel one. In fact, that's the one I really need to connect, because that's the one without the... that's going to solve the radiation problem. Okay. Talk later. Thanks for the stream. No props. Good to talk again. Thanks for stopping by. A good evening. Oops. Because I know this is right. This is right. Okay. Do I? Yeah, I do. In fact, can I touch that on there? Yeah. Okay. Pretty sure this points in the right direction, and we can work with the height. Nothing is small about this game. Nothing is simple. Okay, so that's it coming this way. And then it needs to go here. Okay, so really where I am needs to be where the ramp is. Yeah, the ramp needs to start there, doesn't it? El Rampo. So just the one. And then, well, doesn't matter how many, but some. Let's get rid of all of them. So I've got 3, haven't I? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Is that 7? Because got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more, 9. And then 10. Is that too low down? Also, it's going to do weirdness with the angle anyway, isn't it? Yeah. So if we make it, say, so we get 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take that one out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we do a straight bit. Like that. Them. There. Oops. So, where am I connecting this to? Can I get back up there? Can I get back up there? Yep. Okay, so we know that's where that needs to go. This is the ramp to get through the valley. We put the straight bit on there. Okay. So that's our angle there. Is that the same height as this? No, it isn't, is it? Oops, I've fallen off again. Wish there's like a powered floor. Right. So it's one under is the point. So it's not the right height. But one more on top. And it is the right height. Okay. So I'll have a straight bit here, I guess. So I can do however the heck I'm going to do corners. And now do I go... a long way this way, maybe? Take it past all this weird... Yeah. Path bit. Because that gives plenty of clearance room for cars and trucks and stuff. I'm driving around. We drive around, round, round, round. We drive around. So if I go... get rid of that. Because that looks... that's where I got to, wasn't it, on the other end? And then I asked, have I done the thingamy that I need to do? So, we'll go on there. And then let's just do a full zoop. Now I know it needs 2 chopping off. Where does that put us height-wise? That's not far off, is it? We zoom around, round. Quite like the idea of driving past this one as well. I don't even know what it is. What is limestone, is it? Oh, random concrete block. Just because. Whoops. So how far are we off if we go here? How many would we need to go down? Okay. So it would need to be a 1. 10 takes us down to there. Okay. So we need to take that as well. So that then makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's okay. Are those matched? Well, not matched. Height-wise. No. One more. Okay, so this is where our sort of discontinuity is of heights. In that the factory... The two factories are mismatched, basically. So yeah, this needs to be... Yeah, doesn't it?
Breaking news from Earth. Widespread chaos and mayhem. World President
I
urges all
guess.
citizens
Yes,
to do their
yes.
part
Shush.
to harvest alien
Shush.
artifacts.
Shush. In fact, if I do 2, 1,
Comply.
that's too far down, isn't it? Oops. So if we bring it a couple closer...
You are so lucky that you found this most valuable artifact.
So I think I can get these to clip in with the angle, if that makes sense. So it needs to be, what, 2 more closer?
Harvest.
And we can sort of hide it maybe in the ramp. That's a future problem for future trees to solve. One more. There we go. Oops.
Picking up multiple FICSIT personnel in the area. Proceed with harvest
Now
before it's
which...
too late.
Alright. Which of these here? Might actually lay some track before the end of this stream. That would be novel. That'll be novel. Actually, I got that wrong, didn't I? Because that's a 2 meter ramp. Bum. So that's wrong. That's annoying. So, in fact, it probably matches up better if I take it out. Oh, that's doubly annoying. Right, let's correct it then. Of course, there is another possibility with this whole stream series. My computer dies. Because it seems to be struggling more and more each time with the autosaves. Which is another thing, my whole... I need to upgrade my system. I can't see how I'm going to do that, given how much it's going to cost me to move. I mean, we're going to reach a point where basically my machine... You know, I'll have to do a CPU type upgrade, because it just won't be compatible with things anymore. Certainly not, you know, a lot of the games I like to play, the AAA stuff. We are an indies, but... Well, say that. This is an indie. Can I put a 2 in there and it works now? Yeah, you see, that worked better. That was annoying. I was actually saying I might stream something called Bear and Breakfast yesterday. It's a sort of a management-y type sim where you play a bear that manages rebuilds a tourist resort, basically, like a camps in the woods type thing. But there's quite a lot to it actually. I was a bit surprised. There we go, that's a bit better. Yeah, I'm quite surprised by how much there isn't, because there's like a map. It's like each of them, there's like several maps. I mean, you can't free build on it, you can build in little territories, but the maps are quite large. In fact, weirdly large, in that they're sort of just forests and it's sort of empty in a sense. But it works for it, you know. But it's really generous with like materials and stuff. So it just makes it a bit chill, you know. But yeah, I've been weirdly enjoying that. Because Sweet Transit also came out. I've bought that as well, and I've not actually fired that up. I don't know what's been added. I might not play it for a little bit because the roadmap kind of seems to imply that it's only a one-man dev team. Literally, it's one bloke. But the roadmap seems to be implying it's going to add quite a lot of things that I was criticising. So I may just leave it for a bit to wait for a sort of update, the first update. Adding a few of those things in. So, I think we can get rid of all of these. And I'm kind of just in the territory of trying to line things up again. What was the other one I was going to get? Or thinking about getting? Something else that came out. Can't remember. Decided against that one for the time being there. Wait, I shouldn't take that out really, should I? Get rid of this then. And that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it needs to be a 1 ramp. Yeah. And then it goes... Or do I go all the way? Do I make it just a big ramp that goes up to this factory? That would make a lot of sense. Because then I could have the junction for the steel go in when it's on the straight bit. But then don't I have to get over this sand dune? Yeah, this is too low for the sand dune. And that's going to end before that. Okay, so I could just make that end straighter, couldn't I? Yeah. So it comes out more, basically, is what I mean. Okay. So, where does this ramp end. So it's there, isn't it? So how much further out would it need to go? Let's get rid of that. Come on. Because that clips through the desert. No, in fact, let's do another one. So if this is the... So I want it to go to here somewhere. So I want the ramp. Do I? I think so. The ramp needs to be there. And I need these two to intersect. Except that needs to be a 1 meter. Are they one thing off again? I think they are, aren't they? Because if I put a 1 off, 1 in there, it's too low down. So if we do 1 there. Just oops, let it all zoom out. So I do 1 more. But this is the wrong height then, I think. Yeah, it's 1 off, isn't it? That's annoying. Because obviously I can't put another 2 in, because it'll be off. Did I line it all properly up on the... Did I line it all up properly on the other end? This is because I discovered it like seems to like that angle. If you go 1 or 2, it seems to then... It doesn't clip through the surface. Well, badly. It doesn't clip through badly. Okay. So, right. So we got a 1 here, 2, a 2, a 2, a 2, and then a 1. Okay. So it's unavoidable, isn't it? I'd have to move it all up. I think I just put a 1 at the end. That'll do. Okay. So is that basically it? I think that's the main track path laid. We've got the issue of how do I connect, the non-45, non-90 degree angles. So that's that's a problem for future me. Presently, quite like to lay at least some track down. Because what I'm thinking, basically, so this here, this straight bit, is very long, isn't it? Actually, from how very far over, I should say. In fact, that's too low down, isn't it? If I'm going to have a straight junction, straight corner here, I want it to go that way, above all of the stuff. What height would it need to be? It's going to need to be like that height, isn't it? Or probably... this height, but further over. So this is actually... So I can divide this into 2 bits. Okay, so what we got? So if this is the ramp here, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay. So we have that straight bit. We can just extend the... I'll put another one of these in. One ramp in. So that goes across there then. Which gives me plenty of height, plenty of options for taking a junction off over to the steel foundry / aluminium, which is what I really need. Okay. So how long do I want to make this? Just give me options about where to put it and stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we do it another 10 long, and then we do another ramp down, and we'll see where that gets us. Oh. No. Oh. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, okay, so that's fine here. It's about the right sort of length. So what? Don't know there. Don't know there. 1 meter. It's there. Take these 2 out. Okay. Need to get rid of this, don't I? Okay, so that avoids crashing into the sand dune, while also giving me a place to do a junction, wherever it might be. Probably not there, but a place to do a junction. Welcome to the junction. Yeah. Can I make it up with there? Ooh. Cool. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Except I forgot to add in the extra one. Because I'm an idiot. Because that is too low down, isn't it? Right. So it's not there, it's there. So I need that in there, basically. Can I get up? Yeah, I can see. Okay. I think we're there. I need some tidying up, I'm sure. But yeah, so I need to connect these 2 up somehow at some point. You know, with a proper connection there. Corner somehow, some way, some when. Cool. Okay. Have I actually? I've literally got 5 bits of steel on me, so I couldn't even lay any track down even if I wanted to. Because isn't it more than 5 per? Oh no, it's 1. Okay, but you need pipes as well. Okay. Right. In fact, shall we colour this in while we go? Because it all needs to be this dark grey. And also let me check what's going on. It keeps feeling like I'm making progress. That's the deceptive bit. It keeps feeling like I'm like, oh right, you know, we're nearly there. We're nearly there. And then there's like several hundred hours more. Because the steel foundry's ready to go. It just doesn't have any way for any trains to deliver iron ore. The miners are all on the iron ores, but the whole trucks and, you know, hidden bus thing is nowhere near done. So even if I even if I hook the steel foundry up, the trains there's no resources for them to bring in. So that's another enormous amount of work to get all of that set up. So this is the junction here, again, somehow, somewhere, somewhen. I don't think... If we did hook the steel up, we could also hook it up to the main factory, but obviously I've not yet put in the system, you know, over there. But I think it could at least bring steel products, you know, steel plates and pipes into the main factory. But that means setting up a whole train network. The other factories making the higher level stuff are all going to be much smaller scale. But they're not even started. Haven't laid a single bit of foundation for them. Obviously oil. There's a massive plastic build. In order to try and alleviate that problem, so it's not quite so massive, I still need to unlock the better plastic and rubber recipes. I've got one of them, I can't remember which. I think I've got the rubber one. I haven't got the plastic one I want, so I need to do a whole thing of finding all of the hard drives before I can even think about building that. We've not tapped a single oil resource in the new area. So there's all of that to do. My plutonium solution is entirely dependent on my hand feeding in or ferrying over aluminium, because we've not got an aluminium factory, let alone the trains to deliver the aluminium. Deuterium and quartz are pathetically underproduced, because that factory, I haven't switched that over from when it was making ammo and bombs. This is an impressively long stretch, isn't it? What else? Oh, the factory in the grassland. Oh, the concrete factory's ready to go. In fact, all the trucks are probably sat there. It's still running around, filling the factory up. But it needs steel plates before it can actually make what I want it to make. You know, reinforced beams. And that means hooking the trains up not just this way, Because that train network's going to have to go right the way around the other side of them, over to the grassland as well. I mean, I could just abandon that and use what I've already got, because that's serviceable. Maybe, you know, if I ever get to a point of feeling like I've actually finished, I could just pretty it up and make it look better with the new designs I've got. What else? Obviously, there's the actual end product factories making the last phase items. But that's literally, it's like 3 machines. It's nothing, basically. So yeah, there's an enormous amount to do when you really sit and think about it. But I keep thinking I've got so far. The thing I didn't know, and why it's so much stuff, is that I didn't know how big it got. If I knew it got so big, you know, when I sort of unlocked Criterium, I would have focused on mining up sorts, you know, loads of Criterium ore nodes and sending them to a Criterium factory. But from my perspective, when I was, you know, doing it, I was like, Criterium doesn't even seem to be used for, when you unlock it. You don't use it for anything particularly. You know, sort of, you know, what's this for? And it's only much, much, much later that it turns out you need tons of it to do all your electrics. So yeah, if I'd known, I'd have set a lot more of the basics up to start with. But I didn't, so I'm almost starting again, having spent hundreds of hours already playing it. And like, if I'd known some of these alternate recipes were as good as they are, I'm not quite as impressed with a lot of them as other people seem to be. I don't know, it don't seem to be the panacea everyone seems to say, but certainly some of them are a lot better. Then I'd have gone and bitten the bullet and found them all, but I didn't know. And of course, when I realised I'd already done a heck of a lot, so I didn't want to abandon it. Oh well, lessons learned. Know for next time. I'm definitely gonna, even if I end up like abandoning this series, or just throw in something together to do those last 3 and, you know, crunching it through horribly. I'll definitely play through when they do the story. I'll do a completely new playthrough. But I say at that point I'll know, oh well, I need really big, you know, screw production or whatever, and I can just set it up. Even if it's not turned on because I don't have the power, you can just build it all there so it's ready to go. And like, I know how to do nuclear now, so I won't shy away from that like I did before. Okay, so here we are with a floating power pole. As you like. Can I reach that? Oh, not even. Right, so what we need now... Why is that there? Oh, so I was looking at the conversion cubes. Okay. But yeah, that was my general moan about the scale of the game for today. Perfectly timed to finish at 7 o'clock. I wonder if this is built up. No, it isn't. Okay. Let's do that. I might flush this, because I imagine it's stopped. But what we need is steel. Go. So take all, put some of it back. Actually, isn't it more pipes than... No, 1 and 1. Okay. Why is that not? Okay. And then... So I've got 2 rows of them. One of those. Okay, so might as well put some of that back. Cool. Okay, let's lay some actual rail. I know it's 7 o'clock. I was a bit late starting because I was so late with work. So I'm really tempted to go back. Not physically, like as in to go, you know, do some more. Because I'm going to have to do it tomorrow morning. No matter what. And I'd kind of rather not have the pressure, but also I'm a bit knackered. Right, yes, so railway. In fact, I'd probably be better off laying a bunch of this along the side, wouldn't I? Because it felt to me like it was very useful to be able to work from up above. God, I actually got rid of my Amazon Prime. They put it up by a pound, and I don't quite see what the justification for it. So I mean, I get prices are more expensive and stuff, but it's like, is it not meant to be like a free perk thing of like, you know, free delivery and stuff? I don't really see the amount of money Amazon makes, and they're being, you know, they're putting everybody's Amazon Prime up by a pound, especially since. Because it's actually AWS that makes all the money, the Amazon Web Services. It's just like, you know... I'm sure they probably make a loss on... Because it's one of those business models where it's like... Almost the aim of it is to put everybody else out of business rather than make money. It's almost just to be able to do everything... It's a bit like that. There's an effect where... Like something like an orange Kit Kat. That's not a bad example because I think they're fairly popular, but they'll do a special edition Kit Kat. And the aim of it isn't really to encourage people to eat Kit Kats. It's to undermine other people. So your aim of that sort of thing is to basically rob business off of other people, even though you don't make money out of it. It's like, it's quite vicious. It's like hurting other people, basically, other companies. Because obviously, you know, even though you're not going to make a lot of money out of it, it's money that doesn't go to your competitors. Basically, that's like the logic of it. And you may even make a loss, but it's sort of almost but the other company, you know, makes even bigger loss because they're not able to sell their product at all. It's a very cutthroat way of doing things. But say that's almost, well, I think that's Amazon's model as well. They don't actually make a lot of money on, if any money, on any of the delivery stuff. Or the actual selling of goods. I don't think they charge very much markup at all, you know. But it just means that nobody else can compete. Plus they get all the data out of it. That's what's the most valuable stuff. Well, that appears to be an autosave. Right when I need to be ending. We at least laid some track down. And that track doesn't appear to be straight, does it? This is what I don't get. Why does it do that? Why is it at an angle? Do you think you can only lay it in exact positions? You know, I can't lay it tiny fraction off. And yet it goes tiny fraction off. That looks straight now, though. Yeah. But yeah, so basically I'll be using, you know, all of those things. Now, as I say, as I was moaning earlier, there may well be a stream on Friday of this, because if it's gone okay with the, you know, or it goes okay with the renting, then I've got a place, so I don't need to do anything, and I can't move anything until the 24th September. I can do lots of packing up, get it all ready to move, but the actual, you know, entire days travelling back and forth, can't do that until late September. If it's not gone okay, then I may just leave it until I'm actually working there, and I can start providing payslips as evidence. If the company's not willing to do a reference, so that means I won't do anything again. I'll just pack my stuff up, be ready to go. So streams could well return, or I might change my mind, and I will dash down again on Friday and try and find a place. Don't know. So yeah, so it's all a bit up in the air basically, but the usual schedule would be 3 o'clock on Friday. No, it wouldn't. It'd be 4. What's my usual schedule? It's 3 o'clock Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday is only 2 hours of Satisfactory. Saturday and Sunday are 3 hours of Factorio, usually starting at 3. Monday is 2 hours of Satisfactory that starts at 5 o'clock. It'll almost certainly all go completely different post the new job, because I'll need to, you know, not skip out early like I do sometimes for this one. So yeah, so the schedule is whatever it's going to be. If you're new, then there's obviously the Twitch channel you could follow on there, or otherwise I have all of my VODs on my YouTube channel, which is Trismegistus, but it's alias to Triggles, as that's a bit easier to say. So yeah, so that's me. If you wanted to follow, like, subscribe, all of that sort of stuff, then it's all very much appreciated, even if the content's going to go a bit wonky for the next few weeks. But yes, that's it for today. If you've been watching, I hope you've enjoyed it and you might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This is Satisfactory. Thanks for watching. Cheers.